become a kind of a breath of fresh air in your local community, in your aviation community. You've got a social media presence there. You've been featured in the local paper more than one time. And during this entire process, when you were doing your flight training, you ended up meeting Dan Millican. What can you tell me about that encounter?
So I joke that I accidentally became a YouTube celebrity. It's not something that I ever wanted or planned for or, thought of in my, career. So as I was getting ready for my commercial check ride, you guys know my social media presence started growing. Dan had just started the Taking Off channel a couple months prior. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, I would like to do an episode of Taking Off with you in the Long Warrior." And I thought, okay. I mean, I was so hyper focused. I joke that, some women turn into Bridezilla. Well, I don't, but I do turn into Check Ridezilla. As I come up to a check ride, I start getting hyper focused. And so I was a nervous wreck and everything, but he really wanted to do this episode. It was a hot summer day. It was like in June. And we went up and we just flew around. It was a lot of fun, but I definitely wasn't as loose as I normally am in terms of I was very focused on that check ride. Well, Dan said, "Hey, I tell you what, if you pass your commercial check ride, I will give you your first paying commercial job. I will hire you to do some aerial photography with me." And I thought, oh, that's nice. Well, 3 weeks later, I did pass my check ride. So he reached back out to me and he was like, "Hey, let's go fly. Let's do some aerial photography." And we did, and he actually paid me for it. So Dan Millican gave me my first paying commercial job. And then
right on.
It was like a week or two after that, he reached out to me again. He was like, "Look, I'm thinking about doing a web show called In the Hangar, and I would like you to be my co-host." And I was like, "Oh, okay. What are we going to do? Film this in your mom's basement?" I didn't really think of it. And so I talked to Steve about it and then decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and check this out. And I showed up to the studio and I was like, oh my God, this is like a legit thing. So what a lot of people don't realize is that Dan actually owns a production company and, production and film, that's his primary career. And the thing about us, the reason why we work so well together is he's film and production first and aviation second, whereas I am aviation first and then film and production second. So there's a good balance there.
Yeah.
And he really liked my personality. And aviation, all of this stuff has kind of become a passion project for me because I just love it so much. I'm so happy to finally be here after longing for it my whole life, And I think that was really shining through my social media. And so we started filming, and man, that first season, the first 2 seasons, I think were rough because we were still learning as we went, what is the dynamic of this show going to be? And then about the 3rd and 4th season, we really got a hold on it. And we just finished filming season 5. Those episodes are now coming out every Friday on our YouTube channel. And it's interesting, Dan and I had a talk about a year ago and I said, what can I do? What can we do? And he said, honestly, just stay with the show. That's really what the show needs is it needs your balance. He could do the show by himself, but it wouldn't be the same without that balance,
Yeah.
And I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I mean, I love doing the show and I'm going to keep doing it as long as we're doing it for, I've been given this really unique platform to which I can help people and I can, send a positive message. So I say I use my powers for good, not evil.
Yeah.
I use that platform to help people. I'm an EAA Young Eagles pilot. I specialize in doing discovery flights for people of all ages. I do old Eagles as well as young Eagles. I mentor and encourage others. I get sent fan mail and names and questions all the time. And I always try to take at least an hour or 2 each week to try to answer people. I get a lot of stuff that gets sent to my junk folder. I apologize if I don't always get to those, but I really do try to keep a positive presence in aviation, and just because there's a lot of negativity out there. And I mean, I've seen it. I'm not immune to it, but I also try not to participate in it.
Yeah. And listening to her rattle off all those things, I sit here and I think to myself, and I'm looking at my calendar for the day, and I'm like, I ain't got nothing going on.
How come Tony always brings on people to make us look bad, Rob?
I know.
He's always bringing on people to make us look bad. I took the MCAT, and I was a teacher, and I was a clinical allergy. And then in my spare time, I started flying, and I founded a nonprofit organization. And now I'm an airline pilot. And what do you guys do?
I just watched Beavis and Butthead about an hour.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Your IQ just dropped.